Radar personnel.
In your heart, in your eyes, in your fucking TV screen.
Yeah, man.
Raiders.
So let's pick out the 5 positions that we can fill in, man, out of this draft. I was thinking we look at the draft and see, who can we get from corner? Who can we get for wide receiver? Who can we get as
running backs?
O-line if we need one. But not in the first round necessarily. In all positions, let's just take a look at what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And so everybody says
running
Jeanty,
back.
right?
Yeah, man.
Go for Jeanty at
that
number
was
6?
crazy because you know me how I felt about getting a running back, and now everybody's like feel like everybody's against me. So it's like it's been like 5 different mock drafts with different folks, different media folks. It was like Jeanty with the Raiders, Jeanty with the Raiders, and I was like, wow, okay, they obviously know something we don't. But like I said, I would prefer corner just because we haven't, we lost Nate Hobbs. There's a couple of really good ones. Will is from Michigan, so we got that Michigan connection. I'm big on wide receiver. I like T-Mac.
Right.
I know we have if it ain't T-Mac, there's a bunch of other wide receivers we can look at. And then O-line, obviously, but I'm thinking 3rd, 4th, 5th rounder, maybe somebody with potential that, doesn't, have to like be put in right away, get some time to learn. Maybe, what do you call that? A swing tackle or a swing guard or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would definitely go for either Will or T-Mac as my picks. I also wouldn't.
Your first round pick. That's what you're thinking.
But I also would not be like upset if they trade back and get if Sanders is still available. Sanders. If we get Rashad Jeanty, or Actionxc Jeanty way later on in the draft, like if we trade back to like 8, 9, or 10. Then I was like, all right, we'll get a running back, but we're also going to get like a 2nd or a 3rd round pick. So it's like it'll be less of a damage. And the other thing is, how do these guys do with the interview? I know T-Mac did pretty good with the Raiders. That's what he said. But all these other players, if they just don't feel them and they're there, you just got to move on because definitely Spy Tech wants ball players. One of the questions he asked all the prospects was that, do you watch football? So it's obviously he wants you to like live it, to breathe it, make that your number one priority.
Yeah.
So we got to see in the interview who is that, and if Jeanty is the guy, then I can't really complain because we need folks like that bleed football. But yeah.
Well, Jeanty, not only Jeanty, there's the thing that this draft, right? We mentioned before that this is very deep in the running back position.
Very deep.
And Jeanty's not necessarily what we have to go for. And at the same time, there are some very good players like Omarion Hampton or Cam Skatable. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, so sorry for butchering it. But then you got Quinshon Judkins.
Chips player.
Right? So
and then Travion Henderson, man. A lot of people will sleep on him, but I think he has the potential. The thing about Jeanty is like, what you're getting. You're getting a power back, and power backs typically don't last in the league because they're the ones always getting hit.
Right. Marshawn Lynch.
Marshawn Lynch.
Example, right?
Henry is the one that seems to doesn't count. He's still running really good. But, look at Saquon Barkley. He's more of a speed back. He's not going to run you over. He's more about scat, stuff like that. So, we don't necessarily have to get that power back, for longevity. And then, like, a lot of people keep thinking that Omarion Hampton is like 1B. It's like 1A, 1B, Jeanty, and Hampton.
Yeah.
So it's like we can always, if we really want him, maybe he'll last to the 2nd round. Maybe not. But, we could take a risk like that. But yeah, look, I've always said from the beginning, I don't want a running back because we have Josh Jacobs, and look, he'd even make it to a 2nd, contract, and it's like it feels like it's going to be the same route. We have Marshawn Lynch.
This is a different front office.
That is a different front office.
This is a different front office.
Definitely. So,
I'd give it look. I think Jeanty is not the generational player. It's on.
Yeah.
But Jeanty is definitely a unique running back in that he's had like 2 seasons. He can catch.
That's true, yeah.
In the 2023 season, he had a very good catching, rating. So
catch rating, yeah.
I think for sure he's someone you draft. But I think he's good if we can get him in the 2nd round. And for some reason, in the 1st round, I hear he might just get passed. And the same with Sanders. He could get passed as well. And so it's weird,
right? Yeah, it's just
I feel like T-Mac. T-Mac would be the best option for sure. And yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say exactly that. Is like T-Mac seems like it's the best fit. Jeanty, we don't know exactly what we're gonna get with a running back. It is a luxury. What exactly are we trying to do with what's our quarterback? Geno Smith. We're trying to put him in the best position. We got to give him work.
Yeah.
Corners. I can understand if we want to skip out on the corner because you want to see the guys we have. You don't want to put somebody like that's going to fight for a starting position, or make it difficult to get for a starting position. But I just feel like cornerback. I mean, receiver is the one thing we need, and the type of receiver. He's a big dude, Jacoby. It's
right.
In the sidelines. Down the middle, short. This guy T-Mac, you just tell him to run deep and jump over everyone. But
there's a sleeper for me, man.
But the other thing is,
I have a sleeper for you.
Who you got? Tell me.
Jaden Higgins. Man.
Ah, yeah.
Jaden Higgins is a wide receiver from Iowa State.
What is he, like 6'3"?
And his rating's 84.9 player rating PFF.
Yeah.
And then the guy's big. I think he's like 6'2". Sorry, about 6'1" or so.
6'2". Yeah, so he's definitely on the bigger side. Yeah.
Actually, 6'4", 214.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
And yeah. And he was like, he's got the same kind of, I guess, mold as T-Mac, which is a guy in the end zone, right? Can catch the ball even no matter where it's at, and he can, combat the player, use his body to create that distance and that gap, right, to get that.
That's true.
Difference between in the game.
That's true. That is true.
He reminds me a lot. He sounds a lot similar to what T-Mac would be, and I think T-Mac is necessary because where do we end up sucking at?
In the red zone,
man. The Raiders end up sucking up the red zone and can't do nothing.
And with everything that Brock Bowers did, the one thing he didn't do is get in the end zone. He was close to. He broke the catching record and the yards record, but he was nowhere near the touchdown record. So, and he can do it.
But he had touchdowns.
He can do it. It's just that's not you can't just be him. You need that threat like this dude can tower everybody. So, knowing that with the Jaden Higgins, like I'd be open for that. And that kind of give us a reason to like trade back. I've been seeing a lot of drafts where they have Will fallen. They have obviously Hunter, the number one corner, and then they'll have Jahdae Barron second, which I think he's really good too. So there's some where I see Will going number 16. So I was like, all right, we're number 6. We trade back, let's say, with the Cowboys or the Bears. We get the first round pick and a second round pick. Now we have our second round pick, and then 4, 5, 6 picks later, we'll have the second round pick. And then, we could take a chance with Jaden Higgins or, somebody that fell or, really have some more ammunitions on the top of the round. And before I was going to say anything when we were talking about the corners, is like the other thing I keep forgetting is, Pete Carroll has great, great, what do you call it? Has great reputation with
coaching
getting
skills,
right? Great reputation with finding corners and safeties in the draft. Ones that you don't expect. So it's also you gotta go with his feel, go with his knowledge. There's a reason why he's been coaching so long, why he can find these things. So I would take a chance with that. And who knows if we're still done with trades. There's a lot of receivers that were traded. DK went to the Steelers. From my understanding, DK and Pickens are exactly the same receivers, like, deep route receivers. So maybe they want to get rid of Pickens. They get rid of Pickens. He is a hard head, but that's a number 1 right there. We'll have a number 1 there. And if it doesn't cost us a first round pick, let's say, because he's a headache, let's say a third round and a next year, 4th, 5th, or 6th. Then boom, now we can really use that first round pick for whatever we want. And let's say we don't want to pay Geno Smith 45, 50 mil. I'm not going to be mad if we ended up drafting Shador. There's no guarantee that you trade back and he'll still be there. There's the Jets, the Jets and the Saints are right behind us that they need quarterbacks. So
and they want to
so it's like, if he's there and we pick Shador, I'm not going to be mad. Obviously Shador and Geno have a great, relationship. But I do know Geno's going to be like, damn, this dude is my replacement, and I only have a 1 year contract,
Yeah.
so I better kill it.
No, well, I mean, there on Sports Illustrated there was a tweet or some sort of message, on X, that there was a picture of Sanders and Geno Smith hanging out, and so at least that says that they know each other, they can work with each other. You know what I'm saying? I'm not thinking he's gonna feel that pressure for anything.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think maybe he's not gonna be like what's his name?
No, right, yeah, exactly. And I just it's hard for me to just see Geno Smith not doing good. Like I see us going towards Sanders if Geno Smith is just plain trash. You know what I'm saying? Because like even if he's just good, I wouldn't trade him in. I mean, I wouldn't put Sanders in. I just like Sanders. You just gotta sit, man. Just sit and learn. Just eat it all up. Next year it's you. But at the same time, it's like it will be a luxury pick. If Will Johnson is there, Mason Graham is there, or even like the safety Malarkey Starks is there, it's like you really got to talk yourself out of a starter instead of a backup that you won't see until next year or ever. If Geno Smith ends up being like badass, you're not gonna get rid of him if he ends up being really good.
You're not gonna swap him
exactly.
Off
and quarterbacks can be good to like their 36, 37, and he was never a running quarterback. He was always a pocket passer. So it's not like we have to worry about his speed and everything. So
I mean, but it says a lot about Sanders, man, being on the Colorado team with a shitty offensive line and doing what he did. You know what I mean? It says a lot about him. So if he does come out and he does end up on the team, man, I hope it's just a good chemistry.
And I do kind of,
and like they said,
go ahead.
Well, no, I was just gonna say like the Spytek and Pete would say, it's about character, it's about who they're bringing to the team, not necessarily.
Yeah. Right, and that's what I was gonna say. It's like maybe him falling down. Let's say if we trade back and we still pick him up, maybe that humbles him. Maybe that puts that chip on his shoulder. Like, damn, okay, I really got to show these folks what I'm about. And so that would be great because that's that was the one issue that I know we talked about. His interview was that he just didn't seem humble. He was like, I'll go to any program, I'll fix it. Not even thinking about like, yeah, you had your dad too. I'm not saying that your dad is the one that did it without you, but you have to bring those in consideration. He had Travis Hunter with him.
I mean, he gives props to his dad, but it's just that's not what you want to mention. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to live behind your dad.
Exactly. So
at least I don't feel that.
Yeah.
Way,
no, but you should because you get into the NFL. It's like, oh, my dad this and my dad that. But that's what I'm saying. It's like it's better off if you just don't say anything. I would have rather just said, look, we've been part of programs that were just real at the bottom, and we worked our asses off to get them to a more respectable position. And that's what you're going to get out of me. Somebody that's trying to bring us out and, bring us into the championship position. And that's how I would say it. That's how you'd be like, yeah, he's humble. He knows what was going on. He knows what he needs to work on. He's coachable, and stuff like that. Instead of just being like, oh, I'm cocky. You want confidence. You definitely want confidence. It's just when there's so many questions, you not throwing at the in Indianapolis.
Well, today's pro day, right? So
I don't know if his was
later.
today.
We'll find out, but
because
today or yesterday, I
feel like there should have been more hype to it. If it, what I'm saying, if that was the case, which makes it even more sadder. It's like, damn, there's no hype for Sanders Pro Day.
Yeah.
I kind of think it has.
Well, you would have heard about Cam Ward as well.
Yeah, so I think it's either coming up tomorrow or it was today, and they haven't gotten anything out yet. Because I feel like people would have been like, "Oh, Sanders."
Yeah, the Big 12. Today's the Big 12, so yeah. Big 12.
Okay, so yeah, we just gotta.
So Shadur Sanders on my prospect.
Yeah, see if he does have something like that. But like I said, man, it's gonna be a luxury pick because of Geno Smith. But, how many times have we seen a quarterback get injured? Last year, Kirk Cousins signed that massive contract, and he ended up being trash. He's coming back to Pete Carroll, but, Chip Kelly wasn't, the offensive coordinator. So, it's the same coach, but it's still a different offensive scheme. So, we don't know how he's going to react to that. But we have options, man. There's no way we can go wrong.
There are options.
If we're not picking any of those top 6 players, then they obviously did something wrong. Will Campbell, I know that's the big one. Not number 6, man. Like, let's trade back.
Not the first round.
Let's trade back.
Not the first round. I don't think. I mean, he's unique and pretty good, but at the same time, I hear a lot about his athleticism.
Yeah.
That he's got shorter arms. He's got an arm, that kind of stuff. So,
which I won't.
Yeah,
I'm not.
man. I mean, the last time it was Leatherwood,
right?
So I'm not. Leatherwood. Where is he?
Somewhere at a Jack in the Box.
He's in a practice squad for San Diego, bro.
That's even worse.
In the practice squad.
So,
yeah, crazy.
Yeah. But Will Campbell. I feel like if we draft Will Campbell with the short arms, is going to be to play guard. You're not going to take Glaze out. What if you're his right tackle of the future?
Yeah.
Got Colton Miller, who's not like an elite left tackle, but he's a solid left tackle. And, if he's not going to be an elite, then, shore up one of our guard position. Like, Glaze is young. Why don't take him out of something? Don't take the confidence away from him. Colton Miller probably won't be happy if you try to push him into the guard position after he's been playing tackle for so long. So, Cleve
so long, and also a first rounder. I think.
Exactly. So there's other offensive linemen, man. There's Kevin Banks Jr. There's other offensive linemen that we can get if we're going to trade back.
Exactly.
But let's get with one of the big sixes. Abdul Carter, Mason Graham. In the end, I still would like Travis Hunter. I know that I complain about having to argue with him about playing one side.
Yeah.
But he is talented. Exactly. Man. Him as a corner.
I mean, it's a phenomenon. Yeah. Right? It's just unique players.
Or
so you gotta take it if you got a chance.
What
if
you get Travis Hunter, he falls, and then Sanders falls all the way to the bottom of the first or even the second round, and then you move up and you get Sanders. Then you have Sanders and you got Hunter.
That'd be crazy.
You got then you tell Hunter straight up like, "Hey man, you're playing receiver. I need you and Sanders on the same team."
He's not having choice.
Yeah, you and Sanders, and then Jacoby and Brock Bowers.
That would be
with the best O line he's ever had.
That's a dream come true though.
Yeah,
man.
That's definitely a dream. I don't see. I feel like all the Sanders slang, it's slander. It's just smoke screens. There's no way he's gonna fall out of the first. There's no way. And for Jax Dexton,
first three, right? First three,
or even first 10. Like, there's no way the Jets. Even with Justin Fields, there's no way you pass on Shador. It's just. It'll be a fool's, they'll just be fools for doing that. He ain't got the best arm, but man, that dude can play. Ice in his veins. He ain't scared. He ain't gonna be seeing shadows like we had with Carr. It's just. Yeah. I still would like him. It sounds like I still want him. I still want him. So, but like I said, we can't go wrong.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, why not? Not only that, but he's really the better option out of this draft. So this draft isn't equipped with quarterbacks.
Exactly.
This is equipped with running backs.
Exactly.
I'd probably take two running backs in the draft.
You think so?
When really late,
It can't be Jeanty,
I would
though.
do something like that.
Yeah.
No, of course not. It can't be Jeanty. I'd take like Scudabo or Henderson.
You got to find somebody that can complement McCormick, or because you don't want the same back, because I think he's really good, and that's kind of the reason I think I've been pushing back about Jeanty is because of Sincere. Like I feel like he can do something. Like obviously he doesn't have that potential. Yeah. So it's like if we go with that route, let's find him a running back that complements him. And let's go from there. But if you don't think he's the guy and you want Jeanty and you think Jeanty is like Jeanty and then everybody else is like here, then, that's a generational player. You know what I'm saying? Because, quarterbacks like Cam Ward, Sanders, so you can go either or and then Dart.
Right.
And then same thing with DNs, Abdul Carter and then everybody else. Mason Graham is probably the one that has like the biggest difference because defensive tackles are not that big. But then even corners, there's like three corners that people, Will, Travis, and Jahdae Barron that, people feel like are similar, and it depends on the scheme that you're looking for. So if we want to go generational player, like, the clear cut number one on that, in that category, then it would be Jeanty. And, that would probably be the best pick. Yeah, because a lot of people have him as their top 5 player, like not mock draft, just top 5, overall player of the
overall
of college. And if you're getting him at number 6, you're getting value for your bang, even though it's a running back. But like I said, our biggest weakness was always quarterback. We got Geno Smith. Like, let's see what we can do.
Yeah, I think the last time we had a vet like this guy, probably Carson Palmer.
Yeah, yeah, and he was definitely on the the bad side.
That was the
Yeah,
downside.
we were all excited for Carson Palmer. I was like, I traded for him on Madden a
Yeah, we
couple
were.
times. I was like, I know what I did with him on Madden. I got a couple championships with him on Madden, so I think we're gonna get one.
Yeah.
And then no, it was trash all around.
Yeah, before him it was John. I
We
forgot
had
his
a lot.
name.
John Gruden, Kerry Collins.
No. We're talking about the quarterback, Rich
Yeah,
Gannon.
Rich
Jesus,
Gannon.
how did I forget Rich
Yeah.
Gannon? Rich Gannon's
Marcus Tuisiopo. I don't know if you remember him.
Tuisiopo.
Yeah,
I do
Aaron
remember
Brooks.
that
Yeah, we've had some
Yeah.
quarterbacks, man.
Yeah, some really tough
Yeah.
ones, man.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I think in the cornerback position, there's some guys out there who you don't really hear too much about. Darian Porter or Shavon Revel. These guys are big guys,
Yeah.
right? That we mentioned off the air here before the recording that Pete likes
Blacks
them
and
big.
big.
So,
No Diddy.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, these
I
guys
mean,
are
Darian
6'4",
Porter's
6'2",
6'4". Yeah.
long wingspan.
Exactly. And I think he had a
Jadea Barron is the only guy.
Yeah, and then the thing about Jade Barron is that he can play all three levels. He can play corner, he can play safety, he can play nickel. So, that's obviously he ain't gonna be like a hitting corner. I mean a hitting safety, but he can play a coverage safety. So that's what makes him like I guess that's what's like pushing like him above Will Johnson is because he can do all three levels. Will Johnson, I think you kind of want him as just your number one. I don't know how he is in the slot, but you just have him as your number one.
But he's had an injury though. I think he only played half the season
He
this
did.
season though.
Yeah.
So he had an injury.
So I think it was just this year. So hopefully he's not an injury prone guy. But I think was it like an ankle? Was it or something like that? It was like on his leg or
I
foot.
think so, Achilles
something like
or
that.
ankle. Maybe.
So yeah, but I haven't heard too many like issues, and kind of maybe that's why he's been dropping in the in the draft for people.
In the draft.
So like I said, we just trade back 2, 3, 4, 5 picks, and if Will Johnson is still there, we get him, and then we still pick up a second or a third rounder. That's a successful draft, man. That's
no, exactly.
We still need players. We had 26 free agents. We only signed like a handful of them. So we have a lot of positions.
Denarius Holmes came
That
back.
was good.
Denarius Holmes came back
That
this
was
past
good.
weekend. So that was to take care of
Yep.
Epps. Was it Epps? Yep.
Yeah,
So,
yep. Epps is gone.
So they're addressing the needs.
They are.
They're addressing the needs, and they're pretty good decisions. They're quality players.
And we haven't seen.
It's just hope the scheme works together. So,
And we haven't seen anybody that we were like, damn, we gave him that much money. The closest person I saw was Adam Butler. People were like, we gave him a little bit more than what I wanted to, but not that big. But I swear I've seen corners that I didn't even know their names, and they're making 4 years, 58, 68 million. I'm just like, what?
Yeah,
And then you look at their stats, and then you look at like the description about them, and all of it is like, oh, he's a good corner. He can hold his own, but but you're paying him $14 million a year to just be that, and I was just like, yeah,
and probably so.
yeah. So exactly. So I was like, all right, I like what we're doing. I like what the office is doing. I like how Spytek's doing his interview. You don't see any like, changes or breaking away from what they've been saying from the beginning. Spytek's been calm as a cucumber, just like we want ball players. We're in no rush. We're talking to everybody. We're throwing smoke screens. So, I like how everything is going. I just waiting for that draft.
Yeah, no, exactly. I can't wait. We got 20 plus days, so
Need that draft.
I can't wait to see what happens. Let's hope they pick a good pick at number 6, and then we continue picking great players throughout the round. So,
man.
Yeah, man.
We need it. We just need it. We need to do something.
We don't want Will Campbell at first round. We don't want all lines. We want the juicy.
I'll take
picks.
Will Campbell
Wide
in the
receiver,
first
running
round
back.
if we trade back to the number 20th pick and we picked up a next year first round pick and this year's third round pick. So yes, I would take that.
That'd be great.
But
Yes. If the scenario works out, I guess you're right.
yeah,
if the
but that's
scenario
it,
works out,
man.
Let's just hope for the
exactly. And if we're gonna trade back, I don't want to go too far. There's somebody that's still good enough to fall. And even if we get Jeanty, let's say we trade with the Bears at number 10, and Jeanty's still there, then I'd be like, hey, we got the number 5 best prospect at number 10. All right. Let's Will is gone. All these other players that we really want are gone, but we got extra picks and we got a player that we also wanted that was on our board. So yeah, man, I'm excited. I want to see what Pete does in Spytech, and this is gonna be Spytech's first one, like him as the head. But he's done a lot. He was like the right hand man, so this ain't gonna be new to him.
Right.
But
they're in the trenches, man. That's how they learn, right? That's how they become the GM, because they go through the trenches and then, they're in the battlegrounds calling and making the deals, so they know what it takes. At least I think that's what I think
so too.
Yeah, man.
I think so too. I think it's been the most excitement I've ever been for the Raiders. Obviously when we got Randy Moss, when we got these badass players, we're like super excited.
Yeah.
But history. Just actually seeing it play out, like having a badass GM, having a coach like Pete Carroll, having a quarterback like Geno Smith. Last time we've had like a somebody with potential was young Carr, and that was just one injury where that changed everything for us. But yeah, man, this is the most excited we've been. We have people who want to come to the Raiders. I don't know if you've seen the players' report cards for the organizations. Raiders facilities, A. Traveling, A. Things that they could do at the stadium, A. The only thing was the winning. Yeah. The winning was an F. but we got A.
That's about to change this year, buddy.
About to change. Let's go. Worst to first.
Worst to first, exactly, in this hard-ass division. But they want it. They want it, baby.
All 3 of them went into the playoffs, man. We have to knock one of them out. 3 of them out. All 3 of them out.
All 3. We know Kansas City's on the down. They're going down.
They got too excited to go.
Raider personnel.
Raiders.
Yeah, like and subscribe.
Join.